And good Tuesday evening, December the 3rd, 2024. It's the David and Chuck show with Jonathan. And first of all, good evening, men. How are you two tonight?
Doing well.
Doing well.
Good deal. Hey, woke up this morning. I went to bed really early last night. And usually I'm the guy that looks at the weather, does all this stuff. I just went in there and went to sleep. Woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning and never looked outside. Took a shower, never looked outside. Walked out to get to the truck to go to the office at about 5:15, and there's about 4.5, 5 inches of snow on the ground up here on top of the mountain. Yep. And I said, well, I didn't plan well, and it was a little treacherous getting to the office, but, it all mostly went away. Did you get some snow down there, Chucky?
Yeah, we got, I say a dusting, but my wife says it's called a skiff. So we got a dusting. Trey was
smarter than you.
Yeah, no.
Angie's smarter than you. So it is a skiff. I don't know what that means, but
never heard of it.
A skiff.
No school for Trey, and he just was freaking out. He was having a great time running through this, the dusting of snow, thinking this solidifies Christmas is coming tonight. No,
that's it.
Coming tonight.
So Santa's not coming tonight, big boy. But right. Got a really big show. They're going. We'll start announcing this is the final rankings before the actual final rankings. Before the championship games this week.
Sunday they will have the actual show that ranks everybody for official playoffs.
For where they're going and who's in and who's out. And but I think we're going to learn a lot tonight. Once we get going, I usually am the guy that lets you two talk about conspiracy theories and all that crazy stuff. But I'll tell you, after watching Georgia Tech
that was horrendous.
Play last week. First of all, phenomenal football game.
Yeah.
What great effort by these kids. And I hope when we have our show to reveal the final rankings next week, I'd like to have Coach Matthews on and maybe Coach Pfeiffer on with us to talk about things and discuss with the three of us these things. But anyway, I talked to Coach Matthews on Saturday, and then we were going to do a show on Saturday, but then Jonathan and Chuck decided, and I had a customer come in, which was a good thing, and so they decided we'd just wait till tonight. So to say all that, when I watched Georgia Tech, again, I don't know if you two agree, and real quick, do you agree that was just kids were playing a football game that's very rare, that they played for the name on the front of the jersey and not on the back? Was that not phenomenal? Look, thank you for agreeing, Chuck. I appreciate you saying that too, because Georgia won. Georgia Tech should have won the ball game, but that's another story. That quarterback and those kids laid everything that they had on the line. But the reason that I'm starting to skew towards more of and I am not the conspiracy theory guy. That is not my thing. But I'm telling you that after watching the fourth quarter and all of overtime and listening to those two announcers sit there for about an hour and 30 minutes or hour, however long it took to play the 8 overtimes in the fourth quarter, and repeatedly over and over and over. It's like an indoctrination, like we're going to put you in a cult. If Georgia wins, they're in. If Georgia wins, they're in. Georgia's in when they win. Georgia's in when they win. And Jonathan and Chuck, if they said that one time, they said it over 50. I'm not exaggerating. And folks that are watching us on all our different platforms, and thank you all when you do watch us, it is not unnoticed. But I was pissed. I was angry. I hated it for those other teams. I hate it for SMU if they lose on Saturday. I hate it for Arizona State or for any of the bubble teams, because if you looked at the rankings last week, and then I'm going to throw it and let you guys talk, but I'm going to be just a
Yeah, 'cause we
little
gotta go
long-winded for a
the rankings.
second. And I said all week, and Chuck thinks that I'm saying all the time the SEC, the SEC. Yes, I'm an SEC guy, and it is the best football in the country. But if you watched what the committee did last week on the teams that were coming from that would be the bottom seeded teams that probably won't win a conference championship. They put those teams. They put the SEC there.
Yeah, hold on. So real quick, because we got it before the rankings come out in a couple minutes. So on that subject, here's, you can say what you want. You can call it conspiracy theory, but a wise man once said, "Call me conspiracy theorist," but down the road, just eventually you'll just look and make, damn, you're right. Okay, in the sense of, podcast came out the other day, and I wholeheartedly agree with this. Who have I said is going to win the ACC for a long time? And I disagree with it, but who's going to win it?
Clemson.
Why?
Chuck, I don't know. Chuck, answer that.
They got Dabo.
No. If you're the commissioner, of the ACC, you want
Right.
one or two teams in.
Well, I want two.
There you go. Clemson wins, SMU's in. Clemson's going to win the ACC, regardless of what we want. Just watch. Clemson's going to win the ACC, right? They proved it last week in the Georgia Tech game. Because in case you're wondering, I do think targeting call getting ejected is BS. Nobody likes that, Orange. I do think targeting the call that you get ejected is BS. Okay, but I text you guys Saturday morning, and I told you. What hell? I take it back. I texted you Friday night and said, "Oh, that was targeting." They said on College Game Day on Saturday morning, the fumble by Haynes King with 2 minutes and 4 seconds to go was literal textbook targeting, and they didn't call it. Why? Because it gave Georgia the football on the 32-yard line with 2 minutes to go and a chance to tie the game. Literal textbook, drop my head, lead with the crown of my helmet. It doesn't matter if it's defenseless. If it is lead with the crown of your helmet, it's targeting. 100%. But they didn't call it. They didn't even review it because they need Georgia in. They need Georgia in. What have we said for a long time? It's all about money. Because now, since Georgia, quote unquote, by the announcers, is in regardless of what happens this coming week, you do know that there is a chance now, and I got to retract my statement because I always said if Georgia lost to Georgia Tech or the SEC, they were out. That would be my opinion. 3 losses, you should be out. That's why teams don't want to play in the championship games. But if they're going to be in, guys, there's a chance there's a 7-10 matchup between Tennessee and Georgia in Knoxville. What do you think ESPN wants? They want that.
Yeah,
No,
it's 7 o'clock. Okay,
Yeah.
keep talking, but I'm just saying it's 7 o'clock.
So they want that rating. The ACC commissioner wants 2 teams in, so it keeps an Alabama or South Carolina or whoever is going to come in at 12 out. So you really think SMU actually has a chance?
But before the rankings come out tonight, Chuck, just a minute ago, the projection was that the 12th team is Alabama, which makes you the 13th team, which leaves you out on the projection. That means nothing, but that's kind of where they are.
No, Alabama. Listen, guys, unless the Big 12 is ranked at 12 or higher, because they're for a championship. 12 is really 13, 13 is really 14, 14 is really 15 because they get jumped by the Big 12. That's the kicker. So that's where it gets a little screwy in that sense.
Well, I'm going to interrupt a minute. Chuck, do you have this week's rankings in front of you before they announce them?
No, I've got
I can.
just a little. Is that I saw Jonathan gave us was it 2 days ago, 1 day ago? He put a lot of painstaking into this, and I told him, I said, I can't find anything in to poke a hole in it. But if somebody, instead of watching ESPN and all these so-called self-proclaimed pundits, call Jonathan Crumpton up and get the story. Because you're probably going to see this exact poll tonight when they start announcing it.
Look. All right, so they're on right now, and mine's on. Mine's probably 30 seconds behind because it's on my iPad.
And that's all right.
Who is tonight? Who is the 12th team tonight before they pick? I'm just curious to see what you guys think. Tell me who the 12th team is.
I think Alabama.
I do too.
Okay. So, and
no homework of mine.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Memphis, 25 is Memphis.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Didn't see that coming. Memphis. All right. Yes, Army's 24. Hey.
go Army beat Navy.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Go Army beat Navy.
Colorado, 23.
So they're 3-loss. They're 3-loss team. They don't put a lot of stock in.
Syracuse, 22. Hey, guys, by the way,
Good for
Syracuse.
them.
Hey, no. Get your mind right for the ACC for Syracuse next year. If that kid stays at quarterback, they're dangerous. Very dangerous. Illinois, 21. I think, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, I think Illinois' got a bigger argument to get in than some like South Carolina and Alabama because of the losses that South Carolina and Alabama's had. That is a bold take, but I like Illinois this year. UNLV is 20. That's big to know, by the way. That's big to know.
They're in a championship game.
Yep. They're the Mountain West.
So if they beat Boise, they're in.
Well, yes, but we'll see. Missouri 19 doesn't matter because they're not in the discussion. $18 BYU once again doesn't matter because they're not in the championship game.
I don't think we were in on BYU all year, Chuck.
No, we weren't.
Clemson is 17. I was 1 or 2 off on. I thought Clemson, I think it was like 18 or something, but still, they're 17.
But if they – okay, yeah, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. $16 would be Iowa State at 16. But see, if you notice, Clemson dropped 5. If you lose a game right now, they're roughly dropping you 5 spots, is what they've been showing the past 3 weeks, roughly 5. Iowa State being 16. Once again, that's a big key note. Chuck, if you'll star Arizona State 15, if you'll star 15, 16, and then 20, please. Arizona State I thought Arizona State – actually, Chuck, where did I have them?
14.
Okay, so I would have 15. I think still a little low, but it's all right. It tells you they don't value them. I'm rooting for them, but they don't value them.
Right.
Like I'm rooting for Arizona State to win, but they do not value them apparently at all. They only moved up.
Where's
South Carolina?
Where's the game?
Oh, South Carolina's 14. They're out. It is what it is. They're done. I thought they would have been at least 13. So I'm assuming they kept Ole Miss at 13 is what I'm assuming. They're showing some South Carolina highlights. I thought they would have jumped Ole Miss just because of beating a top 15.
So, Chuck, does that put South Carolina totally out?
Yes.
Like Jonathan said, I want to see if you agree or disagree.
I totally agree.
All right, Ole Miss is 13, so that means Alabama's 12. Alabama ain't out of this thing, gentlemen. Ole Miss is out for sure because them and Alabama don't play, and now they're not going to jump Alabama. Ole Miss is out, is what it is. Waiting to see.
Well, 12 would have to be Alabama.
Well, no, it's going to be, but they just haven't announced it. 12 would be. I mean, it's not shown, but Miami. Woo!
Oh, my goodness.
Woo! Alabama's going to be, geez. Guys, they
dropped them 6 spots.
they may be setting up. Well, first off, we talked about last week. Miami was not as good as their record because of the Cal and Virginia Tech game, but whatever. They are trying to set up a Tennessee, Georgia or a Tennessee, Alabama game in the first round because they want money. Because in case for everybody that's wondering, I have season tickets to Tennessee. I called the ticket office. Guess who sets the ticket price, Chuck? The NCAA.
Uh-oh.
They want money. They don't care.
Yeah, but you can get sideline passes, you little turd.
It doesn't matter. I don't care about that. For the average fan, they want money. They're setting up conference rivals for the first round on purpose. Alabama's 11.
Wow.
Alabama's in, gentlemen.
Yep.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Alabama is in.
Roll
So
Tide.
does that go back and prove my theory right? What we were talking about ahead of time? Yes.
Yes.
It does. And as much as I'm an SEC guy, I would still like Miami dropped 6 spots. Now, granted, they should never have lost that game. Kudos to Syracuse and kudos to their coach, honestly, for being down 21 and saying, we don't care. All right, 10 is Boise. Who do y'all guess for 9? It's not up yet.
Indiana.
I'm going to go SMU 9, Indiana 8. I'm going to guess. We'll find out.
I would think they would look at both those teams pretty much the same way.
Still haven't done it.
Come on, Reese, you're talking too much. Let's go, baby.
I know.
love you.
Let's go. 9, Indiana. So SMU should be 8. Once again, that shows they don't value Indiana that much. Indiana put a spanking on Purdue, which they should have, and only moved up 1 spot. That actually surprises me. I'm not gonna lie. That surprised me.
Jonathan.
They did what they were supposed
But they're in.
against Purdue.
If SMU loses to Clemson,
They're in.
does Indiana fall into the 8th spot?
I think they pretty much flip flop. SMU's 8. I think, Chuck, I think they would just flip flop. Or we'll talk about it in a minute because there's a couple scenarios about Boise State. If Boise wins and SMU loses, I think SMU may drop to 10.
Because you said 8 is the home. You get a home.
Well,
game,
no,
right?
no, see, that's all wacky. We'll
Okay.
go over that in a minute. This is so – I understand what they're doing, but they made it harder than it needed to be. I'll say it that way. 7 is going to be a big spot. Is this going to be Tennessee or Ohio State? Let's find out.
I say Ohio State.
That's what I think it should be, but let's see. They hadn't announced it yet. Tennessee. They're going to keep Ohio State at 6. Yep.
What?
Yep. They don't – and that was arguably the worst loss in Ryan Day's history, and he's only going to drop 3 or 4 spots.
Jiminy Christmas. Okay.
That surprised me because that may – at this point, sorry, Tennessee's got to have Texas win the SEC to get a home game. Otherwise, they'll be on the road because of that right there, because they're going 7 and not 6. Ohio State 6. But notice, how many did I say they were averaging on dropping a team? 5.
6. 5 to
Wow.
6. 5. Okay.
They only dropped Ohio State 4. See an Ohio State bias, like you see an SEC bias. Like Ohio State's always going to get that bias. 5 is Georgia. And then it's going to go Notre Dame, Penn State, Texas, Oregon. Those won't change. So you can go ahead and mark those down. Notre Dame before, Penn State 3, Texas 2, Oregon 1. Those won't change.
They've already said Georgia 5?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And then, like, everybody's just going to move up a spot. It'll be Notre Dame's already at 4. Penn State will be 3. They haven't announced it. Penn State will be 3. Texas 2. Oregon 1.
And but even though Notre Dame's 4, the highest they can be seeded is 5th.
Yes.
They cannot be the 4th seeded team.
No. So that's what I'm saying. That's where all this gets a little wacky. Okay. And they're going to come up with a bracket here in a second of what it would be if we ended today, but we don't end today, so it doesn't matter. But I'm going to wait until they do that to talk about a couple of these scenarios that could actually play out. Okay. Because now it's a lot more solidified of where everybody's going to be, because not everybody's playing next week. So the scenarios are cut in probably a third of what they really could be. So if we ended today, Oregon 1, Texas 2, SMU 3, Boise 4, Arizona State gets 12. If we ended today, that's predicated on Boise winning and Arizona State winning, since Arizona State was ranked out of the top 12. See that right there? I told you that one spot, Ohio State would get a home game and Tennessee would be going to Ohio State instead of Ohio State coming to Tennessee. That right there, that one bias. So that's why Tennessee has to have Texas beat Georgia to get a home game. Alabama will be going to Notre Dame, supposedly. Indiana going to Georgia, and Arizona State going to Penn State.
And who's going to Penn State?
Arizona State.
Oh, Arizona State.
So, but that's how it would match up if it ended today, okay? So that's where the ones that I told you to start, Chuck, were Arizona State, UNLV.
15.
Yep, so Arizona State, Iowa State, they play each other. They're 15-16, okay? So the only way they'll get number 12 seed, the winner of that game, if Boise State wins, okay? Because they're not ranked in the top 12. And Boise's ranked higher than them, so Boise gets the 4 seed. But this is where it gets kind of funny, all right? No matter who wins that game, if UNLV beats Boise, UNLV gets the 12 spot. The winner of Arizona State, Iowa State gets the 4 spot. That's where it could get a little funny. So those 2 games are massive to watch and see who's going to get the 4 and who's going to get the 12. It will not be 11, 10, 9, or 8 because they're too far ranked. They're ranked too far down. So it will be 4 and 12.
Okay. Before all right. Let's talk, man. Chuck, you ready? John, you ready? Because there's things I want to talk about. All right. Let's kind of start here by looking and letting me make sure that when I ask this, I'm correct. Miami, no chance.
No, they're out.
Correct.
They're out.
South Carolina.
No, although listen, 13 and down are gone, or no, 12 and out are gone because no, 12 and down. How they ranked them today are not getting in because Arizona State.
Unless you're playing in a championship game and win.
Well, that's what 12 and down are gone outside of Arizona State, Iowa State, and UNLV. Those are the only 3 that have a chance that are ranked lower than 12. That's it. 12 and down outside of those 3 are out. Nothing you can do about it.
There's no way Alabama's not going to be in.
No, Alabama's in. Alabama is in. And hold on, I'm trying to. Oh, dang it. Hold on. That'll make sense. Son of a biscuit. I'm trying to screenshot this. Won't let me screenshot it because it's on my TV. But either way, I've got it paused. Okay. So here's how it's going to play out. Because Oregon is going to beat Penn State. I'm just telling you. Oregon will get 1. The winner of Texas, Georgia gets 2. SMU gets 3 if they win. Boise if they win. Notre Dame is going to be 5 regardless, gentlemen, because Penn State's not going to stay the same. Penn State loses, Notre Dame's automatic 5. Automatic. Okay? I don't think Penn State, nobody drops out. This is the top 12. It's just a matter of what order now. Nobody's getting dropped out. Oregon is not getting dropped out. Penn State's not getting dropped out. SMU's not getting dropped out. And Texas and Georgia not getting dropped out. Yeah, those are the five. This is the top 12. They just given us tonight the top 12. It's just a matter of what order, meaning who's getting number 12 from the Pac-12, or I mean the Big 12 or the Mountain West. There's only two caveats to what I just said. Technically, Iowa State and UNLV. Those are the only other two teams that have a chance. Everybody else is done. So it depends on who wins those two games. But other than that, it's just going to be a reshuffle. But these are the teams for next week. Mark it down.
So, all right. You got your stuff in front of you, Chuck, where you're able to see now?
Yeah, I got.
Okay.
Here.
All right. If you are, let me go here. If you are Miami, are you angry and saying, wait a minute?
No, you should have won the damn game. No, you should have won the game. I mean, it is what it is. Here's why. Or go ahead.
It's a softball question, but you have to ask that softball question, Dave. I get it.
Yeah, you got to.
Miami lost 2 of the last 3 ball games. They spent 5-game streak of being in the middle of the season where they had 5 straight comebacks of being down in the fourth quarter, 2 or more touchdowns, and somehow miraculously played, and got breaks and all that other stuff. Miami is done.
Yep. Their record is better than they were.
And it goes back to I sent you when I said if we're intellectually honest and we're truthful, the ACC really deserves only 1 team. They may get 2, but they're not getting 3.
No.
And here's
Is
going to be
any scenario? Is there any scenario in which I think the team with the 3 losses deserves to be in? Is South Carolina?
They're not
is
getting
there
in.
any scenario?
They're ranked below Ole Miss. They're gone.
No, they're not ranked below Ole Miss.
Yes, they are. Ole Miss is 13. They're 14. They're gone.
No, mine shows me South Carolina 13 and Ole Miss 15.
No, that's the AP poll.
No, mine says CFP.
I just read them out to you.
Literally, I've done them wrong.
Bama is 11. Miami is 12. Ole Miss is 13.
South Carolina's 14. Okay, it just updated. Okay.
Ole Miss is, and here's the thing. I'm with you, and we can talk about it, but we don't need to. If you're 12 or below, and like you said, if you're not playing the championship game, you're done. It is what it is. Because there's 4 teams: Arizona State, Iowa State, Clemson, UNLV, all ranked below 12 in championship games. Those are the only 4 that have a chance. If you're 12 or below, you're done.
So,
it is what it is.
So my question is, what value did they see in Alabama over South Carolina and over Ole Miss as far as those 3 teams?
Right here, money. Guys, y'all can sit here and say that I'm a conspiracy theorist all day long. I've been around it. I've seen what they do. It is. I'm not saying they go in there and say, hey, blow the game to the coaches. No, I'm not saying that what people said about the NFL. Well, it's all scripted. You're going to get hurt on this play. No. But there have been how many recorded instances of referees fixing games? Happened in NCAA basketball. It's happened in NBA basketball. Right? They didn't do anything to the Houston Astros. It's all about money. They don't care. The NCAA has to make money. And they're going to make money by having Alabama in because of, well, it's the first year that Nick Saban's retired. What a better story than them going 3 losses and all the random things, 3 losses before the month of November or whatever it was, blah, 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 all this stuff since 2007. And they make it to the playoffs. What resiliency. What a good job. Oh, my God, blah, blah, blah. It's what they want. Because here's the thing. Alabama's 11. Alabama's 11 right now. Ranked 11th in the final poll. In the bracket, not the poll, sorry, in the bracket. If Penn State, mark my words, if Penn State and Georgia lose, where do you think Alabama's going to go play?
Penn State.
And Neyland Stadium. What a better first round playoff than the third Saturday in October again.
Let me ask Jonathan this question. If it doesn't matter, Arizona State or Iowa State win, that's one.
Yep.
If Clemson wins, that's
Yep.
two. And if UNLV beats Boise State, does that knock out Bama?
Mm-mm. I don't think so. I don't.
You got 3 teams that are outside of 12, 15, 16, 17, and 20. 3 teams that jump into the 12-team playoff. That means you got
and 2 have to leave.
Huh?
And Boise and I'm looking at the rankings. Hold on. Who did you say would win?
SMU, if Boise and SMU win.
No. Lose.
Yeah, if UNLV beats Boise State.
Boise's out.
Okay, if Clemson beats SMU.
Yep.
And if Arizona State or Iowa State, one of those two, because they're playing, win, those 3 teams that are outside the top 12, they're at 15, 16, 17, and 20.
I just don't know. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at the bracket, not the rankings, but the bracket.
Right.
That would take.
And
you said Arizona. Hold on. You said Arizona State winning?
yeah, just for
No. I know. No, hold on. You said Arizona State win?
Arizona State,
They get number 3. Who else?
Clemson.
They would get 4, and UNLV would get 12.
Okay. So where does it? To me,
Then you got to toss it. Hey, then you got to toss up between. You ready?
yeah.
SMU, Indiana, and Bama.
Okay.
That would be my opinion. Take that. Put us back on. These helmet things are killing me. I look down and I just see them scrolling through. That would be my opinion. I don't know if I'm right, but I think they would look long and hard at Indiana, Bama, and SMU on which 2 of the 3 get in. So no, I guess now looking at it, you're not wrong. Bama would be on the bubble.
Right.
I just don't see them leaving them out, man. I don't, because of marketability. And it would have to once now. I think Arizona State's better than Iowa State. I do. I think they're playing. I think they're one of the hottest teams. I think they're playing really good football. But UNLV beating Boise State is going to be hard because Boise State's just going to say, Genty, you're getting the ball 74 times today. They're going to have a perfect game.
I will say this, Jonathan. We have for many years, decades, have learned for a fact, if your team is on the bubble, don't get comfortable. You could be out
all right,
just
so
like that.
What? And I know Dad calls me, in football at least, a conspiracy theorist. No, I'm a realist when it comes to football because it's all about money. You follow the money. You want to know what I think is going to happen?
Yeah.
And I'd be willing to make a parlay bet on this, even though I'm not going to.
Well, tell me.
No. Boise what's a better story? Ashton Genty, who's probably going to win the Heisman, or UNLV?
Oh boy, that's a tough one right there.
No, because watch this. Who did the NCAA already one time this year? They've already done it once. Mess up and leave out of March Madness. What was the team? Indiana State.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right? Because he was the most marketable player in the country at the moment. and they left them out, and they're going to learn from their mistake. Genty he's not going to not be in this playoff because he's done after this year. He's not going to not be in this playoff. So they're going to beat UNLV. Clemson will beat SMU. And Arizona State will beat Iowa State, which keeps Bama in. It knocks UNLV out. SMU goes to 12. Bama stays 11. Okay. Indiana stays at 10. I'm looking not the numbers. I'm looking at the bracket. I'm looking at the bracket here, not the numbers. Hold on. Indiana stays at 10. And then when Penn State, I'm giving you the parlay here, Chuck.
I know.
But when Penn State loses and Georgia loses, okay, that will bump them down to 8 and 9, which now bumps up Tennessee to 7 and Ohio State to 6.
And Indiana to 8.
And Indiana stays at 10. In the bracket, I'm looking at the bracket, not the rankings, the bracket.
Got it.
Indiana will stay the 10th seed in the bracket, which means now Ohio State plays Alabama. Tennessee plays Indiana. What better way to have two historical powerhouses play in Columbus, two high-powered offenses playing in Neyland, and then you would have Penn State and Georgia playing in Athens, Georgia. Mark my words. There's your parlay, Chuck.
All right.
Texas, let's
Okay.
Texas,
All right.
Not that I'm a better.
Take the money line. Texas or Oregon, Texas, Clemson. I'm going through it. Hold on. Oregon, Texas, Clemson, Boise State. Yeah, take those 4. There's your parlay, Chuck.
Okay. Now I'm going to go. Let's do this. Let's talk football and forget all the other stuff. I want to talk football for a second because that's what it should be all about.
Keyword should.
UNLV and Boise. Forget about the kid because he's not going to win the Heisman. The Heisman's going to go to the kid from Colorado. But I don't care about that. Can UNLV, let's talk just football. Can UNLV compete in this game and get it to the fourth quarter where you have a chance to win and anything can happen in any game in the fourth quarter? Boys, I'm throwing it to both of you.
They can play, but Boise State's the better team. Boise State controls the clock because they run the ball so much. So UNLV they have to play such efficient offense and score. I'm not saying score every drive, but they're going to have to play crazy efficient to get something done because you know what Boise State's going to do. And they're going to control the clock and they're going to pound the rock, which now makes you, Chuck, I'm going to quiz you. What's the saying?
You win championships with defense?
Nope. I'm testing you here because they run the ball. So what's the saying?
I don't know.
It's 3 P's. Points per possession.
Oh, points per possession. You can't put me on that without telling me it's a stat now.
Not time of possession, points per possession. That's going to be the key to this game, meaning Boise's got to be efficient on offense to score, but they're going to hold the clock. So if they score, UNLV has to match. I just don't think UNLV's got enough to hang with them.
Chuck, tell me what you think about the game. Who's going to win the football game? And I think I know who you're going to say. And can they compete and get it in the fourth quarter or not?
The answer to that last question is yes, they can. All season long, UNLV has just risen up underneath the radar, although that little blip about the quarterback situation, they didn't pay them. They didn't care. Move on. Get out of there. So nobody expected them to do this when they were 4-1. Hallelujah. They're 4-1. Boise has been every week just hammered and focused on, and that drains on you. I believe this is my upset special. I believe UNLV beats Boise State. I think they have Barry Odom, the head coach, is a very strong defensive-minded coach. Has made his bones as a defensive coordinator. Has and been very successful. So bottom line, UNLV, in my opinion, is going to upset Boise State.
I would like that.
I think the Big 12 I think the Big 12 championship game is going to be really good. I like both these guys. I think that the head coaches of both teams do things the right way. Nobody, and if you sit here in our little thing tonight and tell me that you did, nobody saw Arizona State doing this year.
No.
And hey, and Campbell, like 4 years ago, he was the hot guy. He could have gone anywhere he wanted. He didn't get the money, so he stayed, and they stumbled a little bit at Iowa State, and he's turned them back around. I think it's going to be a really good football game. Where are they playing this game at?
I was just about ready to ask that question.
Pretty sure it's in Dallas.
Okay. So neutral field, weather won't be an issue, or shouldn't be an issue. What do you guys see in this game? And I think it's intriguing. I'm really fascinated with this matchup.
Is too hot. Arizona State's the better team. Arizona State's too good of a quote-unquote story. I mean, I'm rooting for them, but I don't. Iowa State slipped up back-to-back games and bad losses earlier in the year. I just think Arizona State's too hot right now.
I agree with Jonathan. The former Michigan State quarterback Hauser is doing really good. I might have screwed that up. Hauser, I think, is at East Carolina. Another former Michigan State quarterback, name's escaping me, at Arizona State. I just like Arizona State's overall play. I think they're coming in hot. They're excited, and they're going to be highly motivated. I think they beat Iowa State.
Okay. And the ACC championship game, Clemson's taking on SMU, playing in Charlotte. Basically home field advantage to Clemson in this matchup. But it's not a great environment in that stadium, even on a great day. I think SMU is probably the better football team, but Clemson has been there and done that before, even though it's been a couple of years. So that's a kind of a wash. Thoughts, man? Thoughts?
I already given you mine. Clemson's going to win because you can sit here and say what you want. I am with you. SMU's a better team. Doesn't matter. SMU, the ACC needs two teams in. Needs, not once, needs two teams in to save face. Because they are the overlooked conference at the moment. So that means, to me, Clemson's going to win. I think SMU's a better team. I think SMU deserves it more. But like this, I'm telling you, like the podcast, the sports podcast, I can't remember the name of it. Let's talk about SMU. This is your first year in the league. You're going to die on this sword for us because you'll still get in. You won't have a home game. You won't have a bye, but you're still going to get in. We need two teams in because if SMU is the only ACC representative, and a Clemson, a Florida State, a Miami, a Virginia Tech, the historical names in the conference are not in, and it's SMU, that's a bad look for the ACC. So, therefore, Clemson will win, and they'll have both teams in. Do I think it's right? No. Do I think Clemson's a better team? No. Do I think Clemson has the only two ranked teams that played all year lost? Yeah, that's a fact. They've gotten smoked by both ranked teams that they played this year physically. But I think they end up winning the ball game because otherwise the ACC only gets one in.
Chucky?
I believe that Clemson is the better team, and I agree that they will win. I can't argue with Jonathan about the NCAA. He knows it better. But I will tell you that, and when I look at these two, and I have looked at them today, SMU's only losses to BYU, which is sitting back there at 18. Clemson has 3 losses: a bad loss at Pittsburgh, or excuse me, at home against Bill, and then they lost. They got waylaid, boat raced by Georgia. And Jonathan's correct. Watched the game today, and I thought South Carolina was physically just wore them out.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, it will be close. I think Clemson will win the football game, but they're going to struggle because they are coming off of that beatdown, not on the scoreboard, but beatdown South Carolina gave them.
SEC game, Atlanta, Georgia. I think you were down there twice, Jonathan. Didn't you guys play down there twice when you were there? Georgia and Texas. It's really wild to say Texas in the SEC championship game, but Georgia came into the season, and again, I go back and a lot of times we quote Coach Matthews, and he says, there should be no preseason rankings. There should be no rankings before probably a couple of weeks ago, just to be honest with you. But going into the season, they were the clear favorite to run the table on everybody to win the national championship, not just the SEC. Where do you see this game? And the only thing I'll say is Texas is much better. And I love number 3 at Texas. I love the kid that plays quarterback there. But I'm telling you, if the Manning kid was the guy, they would win the national championship. He is he's dynamic.
He's the best of the 3 because of athletic ability.
He's damn good. But he's not. And it's not a slide on Ewers, if that's how I pronounce his name correctly. But Atlanta is a home field advantage, a true home field advantage for Georgia. But I guarantee you Texas is going to travel well. Matthew McConaughey and everybody he can jam into the Mercedes-Benz Stadium there in Atlanta. Thoughts, men. Thoughts. And again, Manning is not, Manning is not the starter.
No, that doesn't bother me in that sense because if Texas plays the way they did in the second half against A&M, it's a beatdown by Georgia. If Texas plays the way they have, or the way they did against Georgia the first time, it's a beatdown by Georgia. Texas's resume this year is the least impressive top 10 resume of the bunch. They got boat raced by Georgia the first time. A&M just came off of a horrendous loss at Auburn. And you almost just say, here's a silver platter, there's the game. With 2 horrific turnovers on this pretty much the same yard line, same spot on the field, on back-to-back drives. Now, Texas's defense played well the other night. Their offense, Ewers is suffering from a high ankle sprain. Trust me, high ankle sprains suck. It's almost better to break your ankle than high ankle sprain it because you can at least adjust it surgically and fix it and be back in 4 or 5 weeks.
You know that well.
You can't do that with a high ankle sprain. So they're playing 45 minutes away from Athens or however long, not far. Complete advantage, Georgia. Now, do I love watching Sarkisian coach? Yes. If he was a head coach and I'm coming out of high school, I'm probably hard leaning Sarkisian because he's so offensively innovative. But all that is hypothetical situations. Georgia has the clear advantage. Texas is in Georgia's in regardless. It's just a matter of who's getting the bye and who's going to play either on at home or on the road. It's that simple. I think Georgia wins. I don't want them to win because I want Tennessee to get a home game, but I think Georgia wins. And I think they win, and I'm not going to say like 21, but I think they win handedly by about a 9 to 12 point ball game.
Chuck?
I think Georgia's going to wear that ass out again.
Like I'm rooting for Texas. Let me preface that. I'm rooting for Texas.
I understand that. But I think Georgia is going to wear Texas ass out. Watching the game against A&M, Ewers could not move out of once he got the ball out of the shotgun, took a step back, he couldn't move. And when he did, it was trying to move with a high ankle sprain. And this week, up to the game, the second week that you had that high ankle sprain after you played in that game, he's probably more injured and less less, maybe 70%.
Oh no, they've shot
him, and I think they're going to wear Texas ass out.
No, but keep in mind, Ewers does not feel his ankle right now. They have shot him up with the best level. Like it is,
but he couldn't move.
Oh no, I'm with you. I'm just saying, but like, no, the movement, yes, but I'm just saying he can't feel it, so he'll play, and I think he'll play well. But I just think that Georgia has the clear advantage when it comes to full-blown experience there.
Right.
I mean, they've got a senior class that has never lost at home. Let that sink in. Never lost at home as a senior class, and this is a home game to them. You think Kirby's not going to mention it that way, that it's a home game?
Kirby's taken his game planning and psychological warfare out of the playbook of Nick Saban.
Yep.
He was trained out of that, and I'm telling you, just in my belief, Georgia is going. You're going to see the best Georgia version of You're going to see the best version of Georgia Saturday in that football game.
So let me ask you this: if 16 plays early and plays the whole game, do you change your mind?
No.
You mean Manning?
Yes.
No, I don't change my mind. Manning will. I'm telling you, you've not faced this yet. Yours was pretty much in that ball game. Manning is, look, he's going to be great, but he's not ready for this.
If Manning had played more than just Mississippi State, then I would say maybe my mind would change. His only game that he's played was Mississippi State outside of like spare packages. Do I think he's going to be better than yours? I do think he will be better. But at the moment, no, because he hasn't been in that star like, oh God, this is the moment, like outside of Mississippi State.
All your points I agree on. 100%, all your points.
I do think his career, he will be better than yours. I agree. I think.
But my mind has not changed at all, no matter who's at quarterback. But they're going to play yours because he's done after this.
Yeah.
I mean, after this season. But they're going to play yours.
Let me throw that real quick. And I was going to mention it the other day, and then we got into all these deep discussions. And I know that Jonathan will put a smile on his face. Good deal for Navy Schuler. Navy got in the game the other night, and look. He understood when he left App and went to Knoxville what the deal was. Mm-hmm. But good job by the coach to get him in because he's fourth on the depth chart. So and he got in there, got to throw a couple of passes out in Neyland Stadium, and I know, Jonathan, that with all the stuff with like sometimes we don't talk about it much, but again, for a kid like you or a kid like Heath or a kid like to go out there in that place and in that stadium and fling it around the ballpark, good, bad, or indifferent. Not many people on the face of the earth ever get to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for Navy.
No
and,
doubt.
And just because I know all the work he put in, so I just want to make sure we talked about that he got in the other day because that's pretty much it. So,
Well, speaking of Tennessee, that's Tennessee's chance to get a home game. There's a couple scenarios. I'm wondering, what do you guys think? If Penn State loses to Oregon, which we all think will happen, let's call it like it is. If Penn State loses to Oregon,
oh crap, we didn't talk about that game.
Well, it doesn't matter. Oregon's going to win. If Penn State loses, do they drop below Tennessee in the ranking at 8, from 5 to 8?
No, but they'll drop. But you're not going to drop that far, losing to the number one team.
You don't think they would drop them to 9 or to 8 and Tennessee go to 7?
I think that they will
drop them 3 spots.
No, I think Tennessee would move up to 5.
No.
Georgia to Notre Dame to 3. Penn State will drop behind Ohio State, which will move to 6. I would see Penn State at 7.
You really think that they would jump Tennessee over Ohio State?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Tennessee.
Yeah, you said Tennessee would go to 5.
Oh, whoa. I'm looking at – sorry. Ohio State.
Yeah, Notre Dame's going to be 5.
No. I'm talking about not in the – see, there's a difference. There's a ranking and there's a bracket. There's 2 separate ones.
No, I looked at what I had put down and what we thought was Tennessee at 6 and Ohio State at 7. Remember, they flipped them.
Yes. So, because what it is I got it right here. So, if Penn State is at 3, okay, and this is the updated rankings. They are ranked number 3 in the ranking, not the bracket, the ranking. Tennessee is at 7. Okay. Do you think that they would drop Penn State because Notre Dame would go to 3? So to me, Tennessee's got to have Texas and Oregon win for Tennessee to get a home game. Because then I think Ohio State and Tennessee move up to 4 and 5, and Penn State and Georgia go to 6 and 7.
No, because Notre Dame's not going to drop below 5 now.
No, that's not what I said. I said they would go to 3 in the ranking, not the bracket. The ranking.
But all I care about is the bracket.
I know, but here's the thing. The ranking determines the bracket, meaning the top 4 – or go ahead.
All right, I think I know is that Notre Dame will not move up because they did not play. Georgia, if they win, will move to 3.
So I don't see that happening.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing. That actually doesn't matter for those two because in the bracket, Notre Dame will be 5. If Georgia wins, they get a bye. So that part wouldn't matter. Whether they're 3 or 4 or 4 or 3.
And I think Ohio State and Tennessee also move up, and that will put Penn State behind Tennessee.
That's what I was saying. If Tennessee, if Penn State goes to 7 and Tennessee goes to 6,
right,
then Tennessee then gets the number 8 bracketed seed and gets a home game.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's what happened.
And then they would end up facing Penn State.
But I don't know this committee. I don't know what their intentions
are. I was just asking the question because, like, for Tennessee to get a home game, I think Oregon and Texas have to win to make number 3 and number 5 lose, which now takes Notre Dame to 3, Ohio State to 4, Tennessee to 5, then Penn State and Georgia 6 and 7. In the ranking, and in the bracket, Tennessee would be ranked 7 still, not 5.
Now, that's what I think should happen. But because Tennessee did not play, Penn State did and lost to the number 1 team. Ohio State would move up with Georgia and Notre Dame. Penn State would fall right in front of Tennessee and fall to 6.
Well, see, and
Because
this is where,
play-
and none of us know, but this is where it's going to get interesting. The committee, by saying Georgia's in regardless, and by saying a couple of these teams are in regardless, they've said, without saying, championship games don't matter unless you win it. They've said that without saying. So that's where I think it does get dicey, because then Tennessee's going to go, well, okay. And I also think it's how bad if Penn State loses, how bad? If it's 20 plus, I think they drop to 7. If it's 10 or less, I think they just drop to 5 or 6, depending on the Georgia game.
Right. Be interesting.
It will be.
Yes, it will be.
The rankings will come out, and they'll be final.
So the rankings, do they come out Saturday night or Sunday?
Sunday. They'll do a whole show on it.
Wait, Sunday.
What time?
Sunday at noon or Sunday at 6. I saw it today.
No, if I'm not mistaken, it's early in the afternoon, because everybody. Let's see.
Since the three of us really don't watch NFL football, we'll have a show on Sunday.
We'll come on. Send us the invite at 15 minutes before that show goes on. No crying, Jonathan. Tennessee doesn't get a home game.
Oh no! I mean, it is what it is. Should have beat Arkansas.
Should have been.
Well, yeah,
like that, but that's the way I look at it. Is like they should have beat Arkansas.
I tell you though, I'm still disappointed in a couple of things. As y'all are looking for the time for Sunday, I am disappointed that, and this is I ain't even talked about this before. I don't like the fact that Notre Dame can kind of set however they want without playing a conference schedule.
So it's 12 to 4. It's that long on Sunday.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we won't be on that long.
No, I don't know, but I don't know if they're going to do, because all bowl games and everything will be announced. So I don't know if it's going to be bowl games and then playoffs, or playoffs and bowl games. I have no idea. But it starts at 12.
We'll figure that out. But I am really I'm disappointed in the fact that I really feel bad for. Look, guys, I'm telling you, I feel bad for South Carolina. I think South Carolina is one of the top 6 or 7 teams in the country.
Should have beat LSU.
I really feel bad for them.
Should have beat LSU.
Alabama.
And that's what I said. The same thing about Tennessee and Arkansas. If Tennessee beats Arkansas, they're playing in Atlanta this weekend. You got to win the games you're playing. It is what it is.
Well,
is South Carolina hot right now? Yeah, but they should have. You got to beat them. You got to learn how to win, and that's hard. That is hard. You got to learn how to win.
Bama has a shot for the postseason, but as a road team, you shouldn't have lost Oklahoma.
Yeah,
you shouldn't drop.
They don't lose to Oklahoma, and there's a now. I think they're still right below Tennessee because Tennessee beat them, but I think that they're at least 9. I think they're ahead of Indiana. I do.
Right.
You got to beat Oklahoma. You can't score 3 points against Oklahoma and expect to be ranked high. And I mean it's just what it is.
I'm not jumping on you, David. I understand what you're saying.
No, I get it.
Okay.
I totally get it. No, I get it. I do. But also, you talk about you can't lose late, and I believe that. But but I go back and say, right now, and you take away the most egregious penalty, the most egregious on that pick 6, that ball game is over.
I'm with you, but
so that bothers me a little bit. But I go back of the teams right now that we believe the 12 teams that are going to be in it, including the teams that including the teams. Wait a minute,
let me stop. It's about that game. You just proved my point. At that point in the year, give me a second. At that point in the year, where? Oh, got to click that. LSU's only loss was to Southern Cal, and Southern Cal at that point was 23rd in the country when they played them. What did the NCAA really want? LSU's a marketable team. You're right, it was an egregious call. That was horrendous. It was. But they had to have LSU win. It is what it is. I'm not naive to the BS of the game. I'm not saying that the players are in it. But guys, they won't even tell you full-blown detailed reasons for not overturning or upholding challenges and blah blah blah. They won't open it up. Let everybody hear the conversations like the XFL, the UFL, whatever it's called. What they do, they let you hear the conversation on the challenges. You don't want us to have these conspiracy theories? Open it up. Let them hear it. Because you're right, that was a horrible call. But that right there, you proved my point on conspiracy theory of they got to have certain teams win in certain moments. It is what it is. And South Carolina was, unfortunately, at the moment for them, at the mercy of that.
So let me ask you guys this. Of the 12 teams that are in are in teams that you think could upset next in the championship games and slide in, who, because we spent all this other time talking about stuff, who has the best chance, do you believe, right now to win the national championship as we sit here tonight? It's subject to change, I know.
Georgia.
But
I'm going Georgia.
Okay.
And I'm not on their bandwagon, but I got Oregon. I think I believe they just believe too much in their coach. Do I think they're overall the best team? Probably not. They're top 4, legit, but I don't know if they're number 1. But I think they believe too much in their coach. And like just little things like, did y'all see the thing when they were about to play Wisconsin, what he said to them in the meeting about the jump around song? Did y'all watch that? He played. So you have your first team meeting of the week, depending on the day of the week. Everybody's different. And he plays the jump around. And they're like, oh, okay.
Explain to people what the jump around is.
Well, that's Wisconsin. They always do it. That's their deal. And they think there's their advantage, right? Because that's what they do at Wisconsin. He's going to go out here and in his team meeting and go, guys, it is a learned behavior. You want to do this? He goes, I want you to learn this behavior all week. We're going to play it at any random time during the day. And I want you to focus on the task at hand when this song comes on. And then I want you to have fun. And I want you to enjoy it. And I want you to freaking dance. Because I want you to be excited when you hear that because you've learned that that's our house. That's why I give the edge to Oregon, because those players 100% have bought into his whatever you want to call it. Hell, I bought into it. I don't even care for Oregon, win, lose, or draw. And that's the only reason why I give it to Oregon. Experience, I give to Georgia. But if the game's on the line, to me, whose butthole's going to pucker and who's not? And I think Georgia has so much pressure on them because this quarterback hasn't won the big game and this and that. And I think Oregon's like, guys, screw it. We're going to go play. That's why I give the edge to Oregon. That right there.
Well, men, Sunday, I'm looking forward to it already. It's going to warm. Hey, it's going to be almost 42 degrees up here tomorrow.
Yes.
A little bit of heat. Anything that you guys, before we get off here tonight, anything that you're thinking about what just happened? Anything that surprised you? Anything that upset you? Or are you kind of, I kind of understood this is what was going to happen tonight?
I think it's kind of on par for what they thought. I was surprised about Ohio State, Tennessee not being flip-flopped. I was very surprised about South Carolina not jumping Ole Miss, but either way, it wouldn't have mattered because, once again, they're not getting in. But I also truly, the surprise to me that in the back end, it's not a surprise, is them ranking Miami at 12, automatically bumping Miami out, which that tells me why Clemson's going to win. Because if Miami stayed in the top 10, they would have 2 teams in regardless. And the ACC, being the ACC, can't not have 2 teams in. If SMU wins, I'll be very surprised. I'll be very happy, but I'll be very surprised.
Chuck?
No, I think it's again. I think this being the committee's first time going through 12 teams, I think they got. I'm not disappointed or mad or upset, anything like that at any of the rankings. At first, taking it back, as I thought Ohio State and Tennessee were going to be flipped around because just being a bad loss for the Buckeyes. But the hell with Ohio State. They're going to lose anyhow, so who cares?
Exactly.
I'm shocked that they put Alabama at 11.
I'm not.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, but I'm kind of shocked because, I'm just,
But aren't you, for the most part, satisfied they pretty much got it right?
No, I don't like Alabama. I don't like anything about them. Never have.
Now,
listen, that's just talking with my heart. That's not talking.
Yeah.
Okay, you understand? There's a difference with me because I go back and I'll again I'm at work today and this thing pops up on my phone, and I didn't have any customers and it was kind of slow, and I reached over and I grabbed my phone. And I thought, well, what is this? Because, it goes ding, ding. And it's a YouTube thing. And it's a YouTube short. And guess what it is? Yes. It was some guy that was sitting in the stands in 2009 in the upper deck showing the throw, the timeout, and then the block kick.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 15 years. I mean, it is what it is.
I don't give a crap. But I'm thinking of all. Come on. So, all joking aside, I thought that they would be like 12 or 13, and to put them at 11 pretty much says that you're locked.
Why did they put them at 11?
You are in.
No, why did they put them at 11?
Because they're locked in.
No, but why? I want to see if either one of you can get it. We've talked about this all year. Yes, but this plays off of that. We've talked about it all year.
Greg Sankey went to the committee and dropped a cash load. Come on now.
4 SEC, 4 Big Ten. Been telling you all year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of money, but it's 4 SEC, 4 Big Ten. It is what it is. The only thing is if Clemson wins, that's going to throw a wrench in to see who gets bumped. Does SMU get bumped? Does Indiana get bumped? Does Alabama get bumped? Who's more marketable?
I don't see any way you're going to bump Indiana now at 9. There's no way you're going to bump Indiana at 9.
I think the team that will get bumped, if outside that top 12 is Arizona, Iowa State, Clemson, and UNLV. If there's 3 teams that are not in that top 12 ranking, 3 teams are going to be coming into that or possibly into that. If Boise State gets beat by UNLV, Clemson beats SMU, ASU, and Iowa State.
Well, yeah, one of those have to win. So it's Clemson and UNLV.
It has to have all 3.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, no. Arizona State and Iowa State play each other. It's one of those wins. So it's really only UNLV and Clemson.
Clemson, then Clemson and SMU.
No, what I'm saying is if Clemson and UNLV both win, that's the kicker, not Arizona State, Iowa State, because they have to play regardless. They're both out of the top 12.
One of those two are going in. They're in it, and
Yeah.
Clemson, if Clemson wins, and if UNLV wins against Boise State, there's 3 new teams coming in. Somebody's being bumped out, and you start looking at 11, 12, and 13 being bumped out.
See, I also
Bama's
no. Listen, you're right, but it also depends. How bad does SMU lose? If SMU loses by 21, they're out.
True.
They're not going to. I'm telling you, Alabama is more marketable than SMU.
Hey,
Indiana's just lucky they don't play this week. That helps them because they can go, oh, well, hopefully you don't bump me from 9 to 12 or 9 to 13. But we don't know.
true.
Not going to happen.
So
Indiana's in. Yeah, the Hoosiers are in.
As the bubble.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just telling you from the marketability standpoint when it comes to money. Nobody goes to Indiana games. Nobody goes to SMU games compared to a Penn State, Ohio State, a Michigan, a Tennessee, a Florida, a Bama, a Georgia, a Wisconsin. They don't. It's all about money. I've already called the University of Tennessee's ticket office about my tickets. These schools do not set their price now. The NCAA gets it set. Well, the NCAA sets the price, and guess what they set it off of?
What?
Your opponent and where your seats are. You really don't think that that this comes into play?
Who?
You really don't think that they're going to sit here and go, or Tennessee fans, if Tennessee gets a home game?
Jonathan, why do you think I'm arguing with you? I'm asking you questions. I'm not arguing with you.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying in general. I'm not saying to you in general. I'm just going like. Right. In all honesty, guys, like that's what I'm getting at is no, I'm not a conspiracy theorist about this. This is coming from the University of Tennessee's ticket office, the NCAA. There'll be more than that for a lot of the tickets, for one. Oh. And that's no. Hey, no, you ready, Chuck? That's at cost for the people that haven't resold them yet.
Oh Lordy!
So that's what I'm getting at. Oh, you think the NCAA's not taking their cut? That's why. It all comes down to who can play who to make the NCAA the most money. That's all it's about. Do you think that NCAA would rather have, in all honesty, because I got to go through this, do you think they would really rather have SMU or an Indiana go play in Knoxville or Athens, or would they rather have a Penn State or an Ohio State go to Knoxville or Athens? Or now, you see what I'm saying?
I got you.
That's where my brain goes because I take out the side of, yeah, it should be this ranking. I go with, well, it's reality is going to be this style of ranking because the NCAA is corrupt. It's the National Communist Athletic Association.
Hey,
it's what every player that played in the NCAA thinks of it as.
Did you hear the news that the national area, it's the area that makes up the area code. They're changing the area code in Columbus, Ohio to 044. 044.
What's this? Here you go. Trivia question. Why is Knoxville's area code 865?
Why?
Because it spells VOL. No. That is a true story. Everywhere, no, Chuck, I'm dead serious.
Come on, man.
Everywhere around Knoxville, on both sides, it is. If you look on your phone, it is 865 is VOL. They petitioned a long time ago to get it changed. Everywhere, east, west, north, south, around Knoxville is 423. Knoxville used to be 423 back in the day, and they petitioned because it spelled VOL, so they got to change. That's why Knoxville and surrounding areas 865.
I learned
GBO, baby.
I learned something today.
Fun trivia question. If you pull out your phone, watch. I'll show you. Hold on. It won't let me do it because I always black out my screen.
I'll look at it.
No, right there. Can you see it? Where it says 865 is VOL.
Well, we learned today.
Yeah, we learned today. I didn't know
All
that.
right, guys.
You get taught that when you go to school there. They teach you that.
We will be back Sunday. Oh, you know how many degrees my daughters should have from the University of Tennessee?
A lot.
That's all I'm going to say. Brooke should have like 10 degrees from there. But anyway, looking forward to Sunday. And then everything will be set. And then when do we start playing? When do the games actually start
December
playing?
20th. No, December 20th, there's one game, and then there's 3 games on the 21st, on Saturday the 21st. Friday the 20th, Saturday the 21st. 1 game and 3 games.
Cool.
And they'll all be set Sunday.
I hope that Friday night on December 20th is up in Pennsylvania. Friday night in the snowstorm. Of course, hey, your Southern boys all over the South, they were sitting there having the head hoodies on and everything and bundling up like this. I'm like, dude, it's only 38 degrees.
No, it will get interesting because it'll be interesting to see who gets home games, honestly, and who doesn't. That's what I'm most intrigued about is where the games are going to be played because it's the first year. All right,
guys, we're going to get off here. If you're going to go, hey, look, in the SEC ACC basketball challenge, 3 minutes and 59 seconds to go in the first half. Tennessee 39, Syracuse 29. They're playing in Knoxville.
Nice.
Look, let me
I
tell
love
you,
Coach Barnes.
I know you guys get on me, but
I got to go.
the ACC basketball is in total decline. 9 of the games between the ACC and the SEC is favorite. That's not right now in basketball. ACC basketball was supposed to be supreme. It is not any longer.
All right,
The world has changed.
Have a
All
great
right,
night.
guys, I'll see you Sunday. Have a good night. Thank
Bye.
you, guys.